I've created a couple of GWR overall roofs for stations, and these will be released fairly shortly, hopefully by November 2019. And I'm just looking here for the where is it, GWR, and I want the roof, and these are for use alongside station buildings. So I created two roof centres. So I'm just going to get rid of that bit of track there, because I don't know if I can manage to do that. Oh, I'm in the wrong. One day I'll learn how to use Trainz. So there's two roof centres. What I've done is I've created one with they're both centre glazing, and you can see there the look of them. That's a scenery item. So this one has a clerestory raised section, centre section, in the centre of the roof, and that's with a louvered side to it. You can see the louvers there. There's the glazed section, and this one is more straightforward. It just has a centre glazed section. And I've done them fairly simply because I didn't want to push the poly count too much on these, and they are buildable, buildable. So we have the conventional scenery items, which are just as you see them there, and then we have the splines. So this is the clerestory roof spline, so let me just draw that and connect it in. And so this can be, you can curve it gently, don't overdo it, because it will create some problems with the graphics, but you can extend this to any length that you like, so you can make an overall, really substantial overall roof. And let's stick a bit on the other end as well. Where are we? It's wrong. There we are. And of course you've got to line it up by eye, and then you've got the ends. Here's the clerestory end. So you need to end up the roof, and please attach it to the right end. We come back here to our spline, and now just draw it and connect it. There we are. And so that ends the overall roof rather nicely. And so you can make some very long overall roofs should you wish, but the important thing is with the spline is that you can adjust it to have a length which is precisely the amount that you want. And let me just rotate that around up to 180. Where are we? There it is. And just move it into position. And now we just join this. So you always have to move the spline to join the scenery item. It won't work otherwise. So this is so let's try and straighten that up a bit. I'm just doing it by eye. Try and move that one over. There we are. And of course if you want to, you can add another one alongside and make all sorts. And actually alongside with all those pillars, those posts holding the roof up, makes it look like quite an early Great Western Railway station. So that's quite nice. And here's the spline for this one, for the plain glazed roof, not without the clerestory. And at the other end, let's do the other end. And the idea of this is to be able to add any sort of, now why is it on there? Just love this. There it is. That's centre glazed, roof end unglazed. There we are. So that's without the clerestory. That end has got the clerestory on it. This one doesn't. So you must make sure to use the right one, otherwise it does look a bit daft. And also do try and maintain the geometry of your station rather than bringing in some really wacky, put that over there, and bringing in some really wacky curves or whatever, just for the aesthetics of it, just to make it look like it's a real station, not something that's been created by Dr. Frankenstein. So let's just connect those up. I think I've actually connected the spline at the other end onto the wrong edge of the... No, it's correct, I think. No, that's correct. I think, yeah, it looks okay. Where is it? Let's get in. No, it is wrong. There's too much that you can see. It's extending over there, so I've put the wrong one in there. And so let's go back. Roof end. This one, like the one I did here, needs to be rotated 180 degrees. Let's do that. 180. Come on, round you go. Come on, 180. Then delete that one because it's wrong. And then let's just add the spline in here. And the idea for these really was prompted by Trainz, a friend in New Zealand, TANE GWR. She suggested that we could have some much more flexible overall roofs, so that it would allow her to create some of the stations in the Devon and Cornwall area. And it's a great idea. The one thing that I've tried to solve but I've failed is to get the splines to create a shadow. So we've got the rather bizarre situation of the centre section, which is a scenery item, and the end section, each creating a shadow, but the spline doesn't. It's not just... if I go into splines and just choose one at random here, really, or something which is going to be quite a tall thing. I don't know what that is. Retaining wall? No, that's not really going to do it. River spline, I'm sure that's not going to do it. Parking lot. JVs, there's a lot of this stuff there. I'm just... Guard pipe, that's me. There's some of the stuff I've got in here. Well, of course, some of it is the downloaded. There's a hedge. So there's a hedge. No shadow. I don't know why. So if anybody can help me on that with trying to create or to get a spline to create a shadow, then I'd be very pleased. I don't think it's one of my settings out. I think I've got it just out on the default settings, so they surely should set a shadow. However, despite all that, I think the look of these overall roofs is really fine. They certainly conjure up the atmosphere of the Great Western Railway, and would be of real benefit if you're making a GWR or similar layout and you're looking for something in the way of a very period overall roof, of which there's only a very few now still surviving across Britain, across southern Britain. So there we are. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please subscribe to my channel. If you have any queries or questions, please post them. I'm happy to answer them, and give me a thumbs up, which would be great.